أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. Assalamu alaikum everyone. I really hope everyone is doing well, and thank you so much to the people who have subscribed already. If you haven't, please go ahead and subscribe. Without further ado, let's get into today's topic, which is Mirage, aka marriage. I'm so excited to speak about this. And do you know what? As a Muslim, I hear it all the time. Oh, why do Muslims always want to talk about marriage? Why do Muslims always want to talk about marriage? And I'm just like, excuse you? Excuse you? What the heck do you mean? Why do Muslims want to talk about marriage? Excuse you? Maybe because it's one of the most valuable relationships we'll have in our life that will be an act of worship if we have it. Maybe because if you don't live in a Muslim country, or even if you do, the way that they programmed our brains to understand marriage is quite different from the Islamic marriage, so we have to basically relearn everything from scratch. Excuse you? No, we do not shame people who want to talk about marriage over here. We do not. That being said, we also do not censor marriage. Okay? I remember being in this girl's group chat, and one of the ladies were basically speaking about, if I'm not mistaken, a marriage and basically the pressures of marriage. I don't remember if I think she was married or maybe she wasn't. I don't actually remember, but she was basically speaking about how like she was struggling with marriage, and I gave my advice and I said, listen, at the end of the day, this is my advice to me too. Marriage is not the prize. Especially as Muslim women, the prize is our relationship with Allah. The prize is Jannah. The prize is pleasing Allah. And then after that is fulfilled, and within doing that as well, there's some leeway in how you please Allah. It's about pleasing yourself. Hey, do not and a very fulfilled, successful life may not have marriage in it. A very successful, fulfilled life may not have marriage in it. And you may find, like, one of my friends that I was talking to before, she said, Aisha radiallahu anha, like, obviously the mother of our ummah, she obviously married the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, but she only married him for a short proportion of her life. After he passed away sallallahu alaihi wasallam, she never got remarried, and most of her life she was a single woman. Are we going to say that she was not a successful woman? Is that what you want to say? Is that what you want to say? Because that would make you a fool. That will make you a fool. And another example, whilst we're here, is obviously Khadija Rajah Anha. I was thinking about her the other day, and I was just thinking about the fact that she was, in her society, she was seen as a successful woman, and it was kind of rare for a woman to have, she had money, she had businesses to, if I'm not mistaken, and men were proposing to her, and she was saying no. She kept declining marriage proposals, and I thought to myself, wow. The first wife of the Prophet ﷺ was a woman who said no to men. Of course she was, because she only said yes to a good man. And I feel like in today's time, especially within what I see on social media and just within, I guess, culture, the pressure of women, you just need to manage. You just need to manage. It's so ridiculous. You just manage. Imagine if Khadija radiallahu anha managed. Why would she manage? Why should anyone manage? Just manage him. Oh, he's not, literally unprovoked. Maybe like a couple months ago, this auntie who does not really know me like that, she came up to me and she was like, how old are you? And I was like, I'm this age. And she goes, okay, so, and she just started giving me unsolicited marriage advice. And she said, you're not going to find anyone who's perfect. You're not going to find anyone who's perfect. You just have to manage them. And she just started going on and on about marriage. Meanwhile, you didn't give me money advice in this economy. Money, you didn't give me. Career advice, you didn't give me. wealth accumulation, generational wealth accumulation, you didn't give me. Islamic advice, she didn't give me. She was a Muslim. Every other thing you didn't want to advise me about marriage. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. This is how you have to do it. And she was even telling me, no one's gonna be perfect. Listen, of course I know no one's gonna be perfect, but I'm obviously not, inshallah, I don't believe it's a requirement for any Muslim woman to settle, like to actually give up what she wants. Because I feel like it's unhealthy and toxic because at the end of the day, rejected men is not a sin. Rejected men is not a sin. Before marriage is actually, you're not going to, like, it's not going to be a sin written against you. However, if you do get married to a man that you've now married, even though you didn't want to, you've now signed a nikah, you're now in a contract, and now you are obligated to respect him. And now it can be a sin for you to now disrespect him, you know? And you did that to yourself because you wanted to settle, because you wanted to listen to the aunties and not follow the fact that, you know, the best of women, sometimes some of them were not married, some of them did get married, but after saying many no's. So yeah, that's on you. But yeah, I want to start off by saying that, like I believe I have a balanced approach, and over here we have a balanced approach about marriage. I don't believe in, oh, don't talk about marriage, let's focus on money, especially the people online. Oh, the hyper independent women and all of this, and but I'm not trying to judge those people because I feel like some of those people are in stages of trauma and they're actually on a healing journey. So whilst you're there, hey, I'm not here to judge anyone, but it's more the shaming of people who do want to get married, and the shaming of women who actually want to be a good wife, especially when it's sincere. It's not like they're doing it for validation. It's coming genuinely from their heart. I'm not here to shame anyone, and if you want to learn about marriage in a sincere way for the sake of Allah, then may Allah make it easy for all of us. And I'm also not on the extreme end of, you know, marriage is everything. Like, it really is not. Some people get married and they hate it. Some people get married and they get divorced. Some people get married multiple times and get divorced multiple times. You know, like, some people get married and it's actually calm, but that wasn't the highlight of their whole life. Maybe it was their motherhood, or maybe it was their job, or maybe it was just them memorizing the Quran. Like, all of us have different qadrs, and marriage can mean different things to all of us. Um, and yeah, I really would have paid good money for someone to have told me that when I was growing up and when my brain was developing, because Cinderella and all of these other nonsense that we watched about allow yourself, or Beauty and the Beast, that's another one, about these men who were supposed to come and save our lives, and you're supposed to endure the ugly beast so he can turn into a beautiful man, or even a princess on the frog. All of these silly stories. I really wish I didn't watch them or see them, and I wish someone just told me that marriage, inshallah, with the help of Allah, can be very healthy and good, and it can be beneficial, and it can be an act of worship, but it also just doesn't need to happen. And you don't need to drop your standards. You don't need to manage. You don't need to compromise. Cool. Wow. So that is just my introduction. But the main topic of this episode today is is five, oh, was it six? Let's say 5 lessons I learned about marriage. I'm not married right now. Okay. So you might be thinking, girl, why are you giving this advice if you're giving a tips about marriage? And even though I'm not married, I have attempted to. And I've learned so much as a Muslim woman that, again, I would have paid good money for, like good money for, to have heard. Okay, so tip number 1: seek knowledge. Hey, 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 seek knowledge. Goodness gracious. This might be one of the most underrated tips for Muslim women and women in general when it comes to knowledge. Now, what do I mean by seek knowledge? I mean, two main things, okay? As a Muslim woman, we obviously have the fiqh or the rulings of marriage that we have to know. This is very important, okay? Because when we get married, for the people that do get married, you have to follow certain obligations. It's kind of like you can't just say, I'm praying now, and you don't know how to recite Surah Fatiha. There's certain things, criteria you need to fulfill for that prayer to get accepted. The same way with marriage. Like, you cannot just say, oh, I want to get married and then bish bash bosh. No, 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 no. You need to know what marriage is. But on top of that, one of the scariest things I've personally experienced and I've seen people, Muslim women go through, is that they don't educate themselves on Islamic marriage enough to know their rights and be confident in it. Some Muslim women go into marriage thinking that, okay, there's certain things that I'm not, again, this is my channel, I'm not someone of knowledge, so I'm not necessarily going to give you all of the fiqh of marriage. You should definitely do your own research, and I can put resources in the description. But for example, men are the leaders of marriage in a marriage, right? And some women go into marriage thinking that, oh, this man, he owns me. So what he says goes, to the point where some men have the audacity to now ask women for money, and they actually think that because they have that leadership, Allah has given that right, that manner of leadership in a marriage, they have the right to ask their wife for money. I have heard this, wallahi. And if a woman is not knowledgeable and doesn't know her right, that actually, no, 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 no. You have leadership, but when it comes to finances, that's your right. And even still, like within leadership is not flipping. Leadership from a man is not necessarily dictatorship. It doesn't mean that because he's the leader of the marriage that you have no say. You have no like what he says goes. That's ridiculous. And for a man to use Islam to put like push forward that narrative is very evil. And I really wish a lot of women knew this. It's evil for a man to weaponize the religion against, especially a woman who genuinely, genuinely, genuinely wants to please God. And how do you protect yourself from these kind of men who will twist and bend, the rulers of Islam against a woman in a marriage? Is by educating yourself. So when a man, even when the man starts to hint it, it's not even just that you say no, you're wrong. You even start reconsidering the whole marriage, because why is he trying to manipulate you? So educating yourself Islamically is very, very important. You need to know what is your right, what isn't. What are you entitled to? What are you supposed to be doing for him in a balanced way? Because I feel like when I started to learn about marriage, I very much focused being an empath on what I can do for the man. And I feel like a lot of women do that. Oh, what do I need to do for the man? What do I need to do for the man? But you need to also balance it with, what am I expecting from the man Islamically? What are the absolute foundations of an Islamic marriage? I think this is very important. And I think that in this process, one of the mistakes I made was only listening to male scholars or male people of knowledge about marriage, because that's what's mostly available. I don't really, now I do, but now I didn't really know too many female, let's even say female people of knowledge who were speaking about marriage. And I actually think it's quite harmful as a Muslim woman to just listen to men give advice about marriage. As even moving away from just general advice. Even if someone is a Muslim man, even if he has a reputable, I was going to say reputable reputation, even if he has a high standard, it does not mean that what he says goes. So be very careful with what you're listening to. But to the topic at hand, you definitely need to have a good foundation in terms of seeking Islamic knowledge, in a balanced way. It shouldn't just be, what am I supposed to do? What is his what are his rights upon me? It should be also, what are my rights upon him? And what invalidates a nikah in the first instance? What is a nikah? What does it actually mean? What is halal? What is haram? Um, Things of that nature. And the other side, which I think again a lot of people um, miss out on when it comes to marriage, is the need to seek advice outside of fiqh, outside of the rulings. I feel like some Muslims, including myself, thought it was like evil, not evil, but bad to take advice that wasn't inherently Islamic, right? Like, for example, let's say you're ill, some Muslims may feel guilty about asking a doctor for advice to cure them, because it's like, oh, I'm just supposed to be a Muslim and I'm just supposed to believe in Allah and pray and make dua. And yes, you are supposed to make dua, and you also ask that doctor for advice, because our religion enables us and even encourages us to seek knowledge, all knowledge, right? Deen and dunya. So never feel guilty for asking even a non-Muslim about advice in any matter, really. The key thing is that you have it in balance. You understand that Allah is Al-Qadir, the all-powerful, and what he says goes. And if a non-Muslim is giving you advice and it goes against your our Islamic beliefs, then you ignore it. Like, for example, one of my therapists was telling me that she thinks it's good for me to start wearing makeup and start dating. That was our last session, but naturally that doesn't make any sense to me as a Muslim, so I ignore that advice. However, she does give me loads of other advice, like setting boundaries. Part of the things I talk about in this podcast, how to set boundaries, how to build healthier relationships. So I did take that advice, and it's not haram to do that. If anything, it's encouraged by our religion to take advice and seek consultation. And so when it comes to Islamic advice, sorry, not Islamic, when it comes to marriage advice, I feel like this is something that a lot of Muslims miss. You want to get married, let's even assume you have done part one of what I said, which is you seek the Islamic guidance, you know the fiqh, you understand what is and isn't allowed. Have you understood what a relationship is? Do you know what a marriage is? Do you understand how to communicate? Do you understand your communication styles? Have you asked people who are married for advice what's going on, how happy they are, what are the downsides of marriages? What have you asked anyone what it is to be a mother? Have you addressed your own maybe family problems and see how that could maybe leak into your future family problems? Is there things that you can work on to improve yourself to become the best wife or husband that you can be? These are things that are not necessarily from the fiqh, right? I mean, directly from the fiqh, but our religion encourages us to seek advice and consultation. And there are really good resources online and books about these kind of topics that are even free. You could get books from the library, or you could listen to podcasts online from professionals, right? Key thing, don't listen to some silly people. Actual professionals who have dedicated years of their life on relationships. Listen to what they have to say. You may learn things. One of the things I've learned in doing this step is how important it is for empaths, or people who are overgivers, or people who are nice girls, right? And this is really, really important. How important it is for those kind of people to set boundaries. And if you are someone who's very empathetic, who you love to give, you tend to take care of other people's needs above of yours, I actually think it's very destructive of you to then get married without learning the importance of setting boundaries and learning the importance of saying, oh, I would love to help you out right now, but I'm not going to. I understand that you feel very stressed and angry right now, but you're not going to speak to me like that. I think if a woman, especially women, but also men, has these characteristics and they go ahead and get married, they are in danger. They are in big danger. They are actually, it's very scary when I think about things like that. And when you hear or watch some of these documentaries about some of these abusive men who have gone as far as really trying to going to as far, this is extreme, right? This is extreme, trigger warning, but going as far as trying to harm their wives physically, to even not even get to that emotional abuse, financial abuse, all of these kind of stuff, it normally starts, it normally has a victim who doesn't know how to say no, especially when they feel like, I'm in love, right? I'm in love. And it's not to say, I'm not trying to say you shouldn't be in love. I'm not trying to say that being an empath is bad, but being an empath or being someone who's very empathetic and very emotional and you're not able to stand on business is very dangerous, because that is how very manipulative people take advantage. That's exactly what manipulative people need. They need people who are very, I'm sorry, and I feel sorry for you, and I can see you're really sad, all of this kind of stuff, which are very great traits to have, but they can be very much a weakness and a vulnerability if you do not know how to stand on business and set firm boundaries to protect yourself. And the thing is, and why I'm making these videos is because no one is going to help you. It is completely up to you to seek knowledge. It's up to you. No one is going to force you to read the books and do the work and go to therapy and get self-awareness. It's not anyone's job, it's your responsibility. And I feel like this is one of the hardest things that I have found personally, that even in those situations where people may say, oh, this particular, let's say, man in a relationship has treated the wife badly. Yes, the man is a horrible person, but why is the wife still there? Why is the wife not able to say, you don't treat me like that, or I go? Most of the time, or let's say some of the times, it's because she doesn't know how to. She never educated herself on these communication skills. And even a step before that, discernment. She didn't strengthen her sense of gut and her sense of reading people to say, this is not someone I should even be talking to, talkless of marriage. And then now you're in the marriage and you don't even know how to defend yourself. Why are you getting married to anyone if you don't know how to defend yourself? And yes, I'm even talking about the good men. We're all human beings. We are all going to sometimes cross boundaries. Even the best of us, even the best of us need to have boundaries put on us, right? And I feel like I'm speaking specifically more to Muslim women just because of what I've seen in my community and women in general, in saying that boundaries are non-negotiables when it comes to skills you need to learn in marriage. And so in this is just tip number one, which is seek marriage. You have the Islamic marriage, and then you have this kind of like I don't want to say non-Islamic, but let's say secular, yeah, secular marriage advice, which is like relationship skills, communication, this, that, and the third. I think that's really, really important. And yeah, I actually have more tips. I don't know if I should just make it one long poddy, or I should make it split up. I think I'm going to split it up, and inshallah I'll have a part 2 of this video. Oh, not video, podcast episode. Thank you so much for listening. Please remember to subscribe and show love and comment, and tell me if you found this useful, if you found this funny, if you like, girl, I really needed this. Whatever it is, let me know. Thanks. Bye. Assalamu alaikum.